The immortal John Hancock here, and today I want to talk about my favorite arcade games of all time. This was a tough video to choose my all-time favorite. I have many, and in this video I'm going to capture some footage and explain a little bit on why these arcade games are my favorite. So sit back, relax, and I hope you enjoy the video. I have fond memories of going to Round Table Pizza growing up and playing Gauntlet II. Gauntlet II is an absolute favorite of mine. I love playing the warrior in this. And this is something that is my go-to arcade game. This is something I always play. I do like the home version, Gauntlet IV, on Sega Genesis. If I'm going to play an arcade ROM, it's going to be Gauntlet II. I had some additional features here. And, you know, this is a fun game to this day. And, you know, I was talking about this at Seattle Retro Gaming Expo. A good game, it doesn't matter what it is. It doesn't matter when it was made. It's just fun. And I still have a lot of fun playing this game. You know, there's several games in this genre. But this is the one I grew up with. This is the one I remember playing. Love everything about this. Ghouls and Ghosts is a better sequel in every way. Graphics, animation, and even though I played the Sega Genesis version before I played the arcade, but the arcade version is a lot more colorful, has a lot better animation. It's a great game. I love the weapon options in this game, the magic, the level design, the enemies. This is something that I play every Halloween. I love the magic in this game. It's very colorful. Every weapon in the game has different magic ability. There's golden armor, really good music. I've beaten this game several times, and you know, this is an example of a game, you know, even though I've beaten it, I still like coming back and playing it. It's got great gameplay, it's difficult. This game at times can be very cheap, but I still enjoy playing it. If I see Mario Brothers in an arcade to this day, I go right to it. Fun game. This is a timeless classic. This is something that I appreciate playing. What I love about this game is it has a great two-player option, and you can play this cooperatively, or you can actually kind of mess with your second player. This is an early Nintendo classic, and one that I like more than Donkey Kong. I like it more than Donkey Kong Jr. And, you know, to me, this is just Nintendo being genius with early arcade success. And, you know, this is by far one of my favorite Nintendo games of all time. And the arcade version is better. I love that this is available on the Nintendo Switch to play, the arcade version. Very good game. I've always been a big fan of Qbert. I think this is an amazing arcade game. A mix of action and puzzle. This is an arcade example of having addicting gameplay. Easy to get into, hard to master. This is a challenging game. I still play this all the time. The original didn't really need anything else. You know, there was a sequel. There's tons of home ports of this game. I actually really like the Atari 2600 version, even though it's graphically inferior. It has fast gameplay, but honestly admitting, nothing beats the original arcade. Still fun to this day. And here it is, my favorite game of all time. I love this game. And, you know, this is a game that I grew up with in the arcades. I love several home ports of this game, including the Atari 7800 version. So if you're going to have a video game visualizing what ADHD looks like in someone's mind, I would say it's this game. It's intense, it's insane, it's got great gameplay. It is the OG twin stick shooter. I try to play this game every week. It's a lot of fun. It's definitely a game you have to get in your groove to get good at it. And it's something that I try to play. It's great to relieve stress. As the levels increase, this game gets pretty intense. And I love that. I love everything about this game. To get really good at this game, you have to be skilled at capturing and saving humans. There's bonuses of capturing and collecting humans on each level. That is a way to get extra lives, because you will lose your lives. This is yet another timeless classic. I grew up with this game at a local pizza parlor, Eagle's Nest, in Cottonwood, California. Played a lot of this. And you know, I appreciate the Nintendo version. Really like the arcade version though. And you know, there's a couple home ports of the arcade game. But this is a great example where, you know, a lot of people grew up with the Nintendo one, may have not even played the arcade version. And the arcade version is an awesome side-scrolling action game. Really like it. It's challenging. There's lots of levels. This game can be cheap. I'm not gonna lie. This game can be cheap, but I keep coming back to it. Fast, intense gameplay. Lots of little abilities. You have these special things that you can get to make your attack stronger, able to extend your attack in multiple directions. You have, oh, Time Monster. Forgot about that. Samurai Shodown 2 was, for me, the perfect fighting game. Had great graphics at the time. I played a lot of this in college. I played with my friends. You know, I went to a community college. They had a Neo Geo cab in the cafeteria. Played a lot of it. I played other games such as King of the Fighters. But you know what? I played other Neo Geo games, but really Samurai Shodown 2 was my favorite of all time. It actually motivated me to get a Neo Geo home console, and it was just something that I really played a lot of and still play. It has great moves. They're easy to pull off. Has great animation. I played this 10 times more than Street Fighter 2. I'm a huge fan of the original Shinobi. And this is a game that actually motivated me to pick up a Sega Master System. But I really like the arcade. There's a lot of home ports of this, but nothing tops the arcade. It's got large sprites. Back in the day, I was really impressed with the graphics, good music, and intense gameplay, you know. Another game in which you're, you know, rescuing hostages. I did play this and was motivated by playing this in a pizza parlor like many other children growing up in the United States. I'm not going to lie, when 1UP Arcade announced that they were releasing this game this year, I was very excited. Star Wars Arcade, the original, is a fantastic game. It was a great use of vector graphics. You know, there was some home versions, and you know, I even did a video on the Atari Jaguar port, which is a conversion of the Atari ST version. But you know, the arcade, playing this in the original cockpit mode, by the way, there was a cockpit version of this arcade game, and that was really a fun way of playing this. Fantastic game. It had sound bites from the movie. I know that, you know, this is a game that really captured the essence of a fun action arcade game. Like many arcade games, this game gets pretty difficult the farther you go into it, depending on the skill level that you select. But have a lot of fun memories playing this in several arcades growing up. Absolutely wonderful experience. If you're a huge Star Wars fan and you've never played this before, there's several ways of playing it. I totally recommend it. Another game that's being announced as a 4-player cab being released by 1UP Arcade. So many ways of playing this arcade classic. I know this was on Xbox Live. I know that there's several versions of this game, including the Nintendo Entertainment System version, which I grew up with and appreciate. I like the arcade version on the Nintendo, but nothing compares to the arcade. Excellent animation. I thought that this game really captured what made Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles fun. It had great bosses, had great gameplay. It was a fun game to play. I really like playing this game. It got me excited about brawlers. I sunk a lot of quarters in this arcade game back in the day. I played this a lot in an arcade called the Gold Mine in the Mount Shasta Mall. And I remember seeing a big line. I saw the line before I saw the arcade game. And it was exciting because you could hear it. It had great sound. This game had awesome sound. And they cranked it up. A lot of kids huddled around this 4-player game playing it. This was a tough video to narrow down my top 10. There are about 50 arcade games that I would consider all-time classics that I would play, Pac-Man being one of them. What games are on your list? Comment below. What are your top 10 arcade games? Do you like the mainstream? Do you like the obscure? There's many ways of playing these games these days, and so enjoy them any way you choose. Thank you so much for people continuing to tune in to my humble channel as I march towards 90,000 subs. I'm getting closer day by day. I really appreciate the ongoing support. You folks are wonderful and beautiful. This is the Immortal John Hancock. You take care.